DeRusso with the Majestic rider here today again with me, the horse that had some possible abuse issues. So this is the first day riding, so I figured I would show you. Microphone went partly on yesterday, so I'm wearing it and it's not working again, so I'll come over because I don't know if it'll be working. So I'll try to come over and explain some stuff in between so I don't forget. So we're just going to see what he knows. So let's try lateral flexion. So he does this on the ground pretty good. Not under saddle. Good boy. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good boy. Good boy. Good job. Oh, now I'm going to do vertical flexion. So I just pick up on one rein, then the other. But they got to know the lateral flexion first. It's important this horse learns to go with his head down because it's the opposite of anxiousness. Good boy. No. Okay, I'm going to stop for a minute just to tell you what I'm doing. So I did lateral flexion, vertical flexion. He did them both, but not that great. As soon as I walked off, he's very tense and hollow in his back. You'll see his neck is way up. He's tucking his head in, but his back's not relaxed. Therefore, he's very wobbly and pacey. And if I didn't know gaited horses, I would think something was really wrong with him, like he was lame or neurologic, but he's not. He's just pacey, high-headed, tense horse at the moment. So I'm working on bending. He didn't do it well at all, but he's starting to get the idea of what he's supposed to do. The bending will separate his legs, which will make for a more comfortable ride. Once we get his head down and his back relaxed, that's going to help him to relax him emotionally. So it's very important to do this arena work if I'm going to be able to help him on the trail. When his head's down and he's relaxing his back and bringing it up underneath me, he feels totally different. So he's got a pretty good woe on him, so he does have some stuff, and he's figuring this out. So I want to get him to relax his back, but raise it up underneath me, and then lower his head down, relaxed. Again, this horse fakes a lot of things. Good boy, he just took a deep breath. So I'm just going to be working at the walk right now. She didn't ask me to work on his gait, but it's all going to help him if I do. He's very hollow and high-headed. And if you've ever heard the word strung out, which I'm doing an article on, that's what he is. He's not driving underneath himself. He's not relaxed through the neck and the back. So he doesn't have this is their power. This is their engine. So right now we're kind of on front wheel drive. We want rear wheel drive. We really want him to push with that back end. And again, that's probably why his top line is not so good. And this is a feel thing. You have to feel them relax under your seat. So we're just walking around bending him. I just started to leg yield. He kind of gets it. It's just not finished, but it's not bad either. Huh? Good boy. Oh. Good boy. So not so good to the right. Instead of moving off pressure, he's moving into it. Oh boy. Oh. No. Back. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to give you my assessment on him. He's good. Somebody has trained him, either the owner or somebody before that. He has more training on him than a lot of gaited horses have. He has a good whoa on him. He has a horrible backup. He doesn't give to leg that well, but he's figuring it out. And when he first came in here, he was tense, hollow, high-headed, which is bad for his back, and very pacey. And now it's getting much better. So when they don't back up well, I do a lot of backing up. He does have a good stop, but he needs to have a good backup as well, and he needs to do it straight. When they wobble a lot, I do a lot of lateral work and also backing up and getting them to relax their neck in the back. That's how you get rid of that wobble, and the wobble's coming from the pace. So you got to fix the pace. So if you do it, you'll be fixing it all at the same time. With pacey horses, again, the more pulls, the more lateral work, the better, and also the more backing up. But back up correctly. Don't back up with their head up in the air. So from this day forward, every time I put pressure on those reins, he needs to drop his head, especially when I'm stopping, because you'll see him yanking and pulling to get the release of pressure, and that's the wrong answer. So I have to hold that pressure until he does it well, but I'm using a very light touch. I am not holding hard. I am not yanking. I'm not putting a lot of pressure. It's just my fingers, and I'm not very big. So once he learns that, he'll be much lighter. I'll be able to ride him in a better frame for his body. And the reason that's important, one, we want to get him to engage from the back end, and that's part of the head lowering. But I also want to cue that if I pick up on both reins, that horse drops its head down and listens, because, again, he's had some issues of being scared on the trail. So we don't want him to pull in the bit. That's another reason I went back to the loose ring snaffle, is to make sure he really understands the bit. And then if they have him in a shank, it'll be even easier. But I want to make sure he understands the bit, he knows to back off of the bit and not pull on it. And they have a cue when they see something coming to get his head down, because when you bring a horse's head down, you lower its anxiety and you're going to lower its adrenaline. You're going to calm that horse down. So remember John Lyon saying a head down cue? That's what you're giving the horse. You want that horse to bring its head down, because horses only lower their heads when they're calm. So I'm not talking about head tucked in and up. I'm talking about down and relaxed. That's what we're trying to get from him. So when something bad happens and I do that, or the owner does that, we then get control of his brain again. We want him thinking, not reacting. He's just been a reactive horse, and that's why he hasn't done well. So we're going to flat walk for about 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to do it over the poles. That's going to help his paciness. That will help his back relax and strengthen his back and his abdominal muscles. Okay, let's begin. So I'm going to do it with his head down. You try to get to the middle of the pole as much as you can when you do this. Okay, so I'm going to give him a break. Remember, every time I stop, head down from this day forward forever. And if you forget and you stop and let go of the reins and their head's up, just be like, oops, pick up the contact, get their head down. So much, much better at the end. Now, strung out is, the horse, when a horse is strung out, it can be inverted or it can have its head low. What it means is that the body is long, the back is usually hollow, and they're not using their hindquarters. So with him, he gets strung out, but it's with his head up. So what I'm trying to get him to do is relax his neck and his back, use his abdominal muscles and his back muscles, and then drive with his hindquarter. When he does that, then we're helping him to get a better top line, to increase his strength, become less pacey, less wobbly, stronger, and more balanced. So it adds a lot of things that people don't understand. When I sat on this horse, he felt wobbly, lame. He's not. That's just what they feel like when they're like that. And I've ridden many, different breeds of horses because I'm from the trotting world industry. So he felt wobbly, lame, and not sure-footed. Okay, felt like he might trip and fall down. And he did catch his foot a couple of times because it's not even in here. The more pacey they are, the more inverted and pacey, the more they're usually going to trip, or the more that they're just strung out and not using that hindquarter, they're going to trip. So it's very important we teach this horse to move the correct way. He's actually much more comfortable now than when I first sat on him, and now he feels quite secure. But he has to learn how to carry me, and he can only do that for short bits of time. So that's why having an arena or a round pen is very helpful, because you can practice it there, and I don't need to trail her out because I'm not going to ride very long. Okay. I want to ride in here, and I'm only going to flat walk 5 minutes each direction. That's all I'm doing, because he's using different muscles than he's probably ever used before. All right, let's go the other way. We're going to keep doing our turn on the forehands because those stink. See him yank on the bit? He did that to somebody and they let go. So you just hold. I'm not pulling at all. I'm just holding my fingers slightly tight, not very tight at all. So Good job. What a good horse you are. Yeah. Yeah, that was good. That was good. That was good. Okay, I wanted to talk about Remy, the possibly abused horse, because it was windy out there. I don't know if you could hear me. So that was kind of the test ride. I was showing him some stuff, but I was mostly seeing what he knew. He steered well. He had a good whoa. So he knew a lot more than most gaited horses, and that's not much. Okay. He didn't bend so well. He fell in more to the right than to the left. To the right, he got stuck a couple of times and confused. He really wanted to bring that hindquarter in. Sometimes that's a weakness thing. Sometimes they just don't understand. When I leg yielded him, that was pretty good, except to the right, he moved into my leg instead of away from my leg. Now, when some people train these gaited horses, sometimes they teach them to go forward off of one leg and sideways off the other. And so you get on after, you know, this horse has gone down the road some, and you're like, he'll side pass great to the left, but he'll never side pass to the right. That's many of them. So you got to know that. So you want to be able to use both legs and be able to side pass up either direction. You just never know. So he side passed decently to the left. He yanked on the bit some, but otherwise than that, and to the right, he moved into pressure he didn't understand. I just kept it up, and within minutes, he could side pass or off my left leg and off my right leg. So very smart horse. Been better by the end of it. He was very wobbly and stiff and tense when we started. He was strung out, but he was strung kind of up and out, not using his hindquarters at the end. His head was low and relaxed with his hindquarter underneath him. I wanted to explain a little bit more about strung out and engagement. We're trying to get them to use their hindquarters. That doesn't mean hang on their face. We ride with a light contact. Once the horse figures it out, it can be a looser rein, but you're trying to keep that frame, because as you let your rein go longer and longer and longer, they get stretched out more and more. And that's, you know, it's comfortable for them, but in the long run, it's not good to carry us. It's not good for their back to do that for, you know, real long periods of time. You'd rather teach them to engage themselves and make their back stronger so we don't injure their back. All right, so that's the update on Remy. I think he's going to do well. He knows a lot, so it's just getting it down in here first in the arena and then starting to take him out on the trail. I don't want to teach this stuff out on the trail. There's too many distractions. It will go much faster if you teach it in an arena or round pen, and then once they really understand, then start going out on the trail. All right, hope that helps.